All right, and welcome to On the Screen, where we make very bad jokes and can't figure out our editing software to save our lives. And I have
Hey.
vetoed the wheel this
Right.
week.
Unrelated to this subject.
It is unrelated to the subject. It was more a matter of, unfortunately, Chicho will not be joining us for this recording, as his in-laws had to make a adjustment on when they were coming to visit, based on current events in their area. So this recording time slot is no longer okay for him, and it's the only time slot that we have.
Oh no! So is he like not ever coming back on, or is it
Oh
just
no,
this
he
one
will. It's
time?
just this one time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so basically his in-laws were supposed to be coming to visit last weekend, and something came up, something changed, and this was, of course, all this stuff happens after he's like, no, that's good, we're good to go. And suddenly, crap, it's no longer good to go. So,
That sucks.
yeah, it was upsetting. But,
Happens.
It's time.
yeah, gonna keep him in the loop with things. It's been a rough week for him, so he needs a break.
2020.
Yeah, no, 2020's been a rough year for everybody.
Yeah.
Hindsight's 2020. Yeah, I should have done that vacation last year.
Oh god. Anyway.
Yeah, when
Let's
December
set up our
31st,
topics.
December 31st rolls around and hits midnight, December 32nd, 2020's not over, bitches.
Oh god.
Oh yeah, I know, right? It's like setting in. It's like, oh, that might happen.
It's like January 1st, 2020, the second time around.
It's part 2.
Please God, no.
Oh god, yeah, right.
This time it's pursed.
The 2020ing. Step
Yes.
up to the 2020.
Yeah, yep, I agree wholeheartedly. Let's do that one.
Uh,
So the topic I vetoed for was our unpopular anime opinions. No one's interested in this one.
Oh, okay.
I guess I have one unpopular opinion. Maybe
Do-
I've
two.
got one.
Maybe two. I don't know how unpopular they are though. So,
Okay, well, ones that you perceive as unpopular, because I mean,
so
Oh,
it's subjective. It really is. But I mean, if your opinion differs from the majority of a fandom, or of, let's say, the majority of anime viewers.
Oh,
So,
well, my
Well, I
first one
gotcha.
is probably more of an opinion then, because I actually prefer a smaller contained series than like the long drawn out ones that are hundreds of episodes, like Bleach, Naruto, One Piece. Like I think I was watching Naruto back when it was very first coming out. I was in like 7th grade, I think.
oh god, yeah.
Um,
That's been
it was
around a
a-
bit.
Yeah, and my cousin and I were getting them off LimeWire or iMesh or whatever, like whichever one we were using, and we would always look for the fan dub, or not fan dub, the fan subs. And and I think I got through episode 50. I remember it was just after the written Chunin exam, which I thought they were really well done. I thought it was like two of the weirdestly most intense written exam episodes of anything I'd ever seen. And then it kept going, and I think I got a few episodes into when they were going in the forest, and I think Orochimaru was showing up, and I was like, I'm bored. I can't keep up with this. Like, it's really interesting and I'm invested, but I can't. And now it's like hundreds of episodes and a sequel deep, and I can never go back. So I prefer a nice contained series like Escaflowne and Full Metal Alchemist. And I think Full Metal Alchemist is even one of those where it's like, that's on the long end of what I prefer.
Interesting.
So yeah, I even have like pre-tier, which I think was 12 or 20 episodes, something like that, and the Final Fantasy Unlimited, which I think is like 50 or 26. I don't know. It's always somewhere in that. I think between like 10 and 55 episodes is
Is the
about where
butter
I'm
zone
at.
for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm even looking at my shelf, like Big O, Blue Seed, Escaflowne, Final Fantasy Unlimited, Fullmetal Alchemist, Iria, Pre-Tier. Project Echo is like 3 movies. And they're really, really weird. And I think
tossed up a bunch of images for you to be doing.
Oh,
On
I'm
the
in the
podcast
wrong thing. You're right. Boop boop.
Oh,
Okay, there we go.
let's. Yeah. So there you go. The written Chunin exam. So yeah. So I personally prefer a more contained series that has like a definitive start point and end point, and that I can rewatch multiple times without investing a year of my life into it each time.
Okay, interesting. And okay, so I guess what for me on that note of the more self-contained, less drawn-on thing, it makes me feel like you're not a fan of shonen anime.
And I don't like.
Because
I don't
that's
feel like
almost like it's their thing is, to just never end.
Right, and I did enjoy a good bit of Dragon Ball Z in high school. I watched a lot of Dragon Ball Z, but I was also like into it with my friends. But I also enjoyed Sailor Moon, which was I think ended at 200 episodes or something. But again, I watched whatever was dubbed at the time, so that was
time.
pretty hit or miss. And Cardcaptor Sakura, she was my favorite magical girl growing up.
We just got Clear Card, actually. The sequel series. Yeah, we just got that in the mail the other day.
I need to rewatch the original. But I guess subject-wise, I don't have a dislike towards shonen anime, but length-wise, I think that's where it is, because you do see a lot more the shoujo anime tends to be a lot more contained, because like the magical girl stuff doesn't tend to go on for as long as the shonen anime does. And so I guess in that regards, if there was a more contained shonen anime, I might be down to give it a watch if it's, good. But I don't watch as much anime anymore as I used to. I just rewatch what I have and watch more Star Wars.
So, on that note, is it the pacing that kind of makes you, like, is it because they spend too much time on things that don't need the effort and time just to extend it? Is that what bugs you about it?
No, I think it's more...
or is it a pacing issue, I guess, is what it comes down to?
No, I don't mind the pacing issue. Although, I guess when it comes down to, like, Dragon Ball Z, when there's all those memes of, like, 25 episodes of,
Yeah, it takes
powering
25 episodes to cover 5 minutes of a fight.
Yeah, like, I think that can get kind of old, but I think a lot of it is... I just always feel like my mind is ready to move on to the next thing. And so, like, I will absolutely become crazy, hyper-focused, and indulgent on one thing for a while, but then my brain, when it is ready to move on, it's ready to go. And so, like, I tend, even with TV shows, like, I don't get into TV shows that have long seasons, or, like, I mean, I guess not really long seasons, because, like, I watched a ton of Supernatural, but I dropped out around season 10. I also started watching that with my sister when she broke her foot and was home for a month, and I spent a lot of that with her, and so we started watching Supernatural together. So if I have somebody to watch something with, I think that's different, but like...
It is, because now you're pacing it with them, with that other person.
I'm going through it with somebody, and so now I've got that kind of like accountability, I guess, where, every time we got together, we would watch a couple episodes of Supernatural. It's also why I watched as much Ghost Adventures as I did, which is not a proud time. We don't like it. We hate watched it.
Well, yeah, but the people that even did the dubbing hate dubbed it. So does that really count?
Well, no. Ghost Adventures, the ghost hunting TV show on Travel Channel. Not the anime. Yeah. So, but I think that it's just, I like having something that's a bit more contained, because I know that I can finish it and then move on to the next thing without feeling like, oh, I'm leaving this half finished. I think that might be part of it. It's just my mind is always ready to be doing new stuff. Yep, there's Ghost Adventures. I met those guys. It wasn't my proudest moment, but this is a little side tangent. When we met them, it was me and my sister, and we were at San Diego Comic-Con, and we were in line as a joke, like, we genuinely were like, I can't believe we're about to meet these assholes. Like, they're such douchebags, especially Zach Baggins. Like, the other two are nice and they're fine, but Zach Baggins is such a douchebag. And it's probably, I think it's Baggins, but we're just like, settle down. It's Baggins.
Yeah, it's douchebaggins.
Yeah, and so, you know, he, like, we were kind of there as a joke, and we were in the middle of this line and talking to the people next to us, and they were like genuinely so excited, and me and my sister in that moment realized, like, we gotta reel it in because these people are actually fans. Not everyone in this line is here as a joke.
In fact, most of them probably aren't.
Yeah, so we were like, oh god, be respectful. And so we totally reeled it back, but somewhere I have a signed poster of them. And I don't know, I asked Zach because it was in July if they were going to do another like Halloween live stream, and he like didn't even look at me. He was signing the thing. He had his douchey sunglasses on and his hat, and I was like, oh, do you plan on doing, because I was trying to, you know, just make conversation or ask questions. I was like, do you plan on doing another Halloween live stream? And he went, nope. I was like, okay. Not like that. I was just like, oh, okay. And then he like stopped and he went, we'll probably do something for Halloween, but we don't know what yet. And I was like, alrighty.
Yeah, I think he realized that was a bit extra douchebaggy.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so that's my take on my thing. Is it's more of an attention span thing than it is the pacing. Like, I don't know. I don't think Big O has the best pacing in it sometimes, but I love it so much.
I think it's a sheer amount of episodes from the way it sounds like.
Yeah, and just like, I don't know, I would have probably given up on Supernatural after season 5 when it was meant to end, but because I was watching it with my sister, I was like, well, I'm gonna keep going. And like, once upon a time, it got to a point where I was like, I don't care anymore. And I mean, that was partly story related. I could rant about that, but I think sometimes, like, I don't want to keep up with 49 arcs over the course of seasons that don't seem to matter anymore. So, I don't know. That's just me. I prefer a nice contained story where I can sit start to finish and just enjoy it. I think my one exception, not anime, is Futurama, where I can binge watch every single episode and movie, and I love it every single time.
Shut up and take my money.
That is one of my comfort shows. I love Futurama so much.
That's fair.
And then do we want to continue, or should I give my second unpopular opinion? Or do you guys want to round
I got an unpopular opinion.
Oh, let's hear your unpopular anime opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see.
Dragon Ball Z is not that good.
Oh!
Oh, God.
Oh!
Here's the thing. Now, I say this having gone through, I think...
Boy, I thought my opinion was going to cause a stink, but nope, you've got the winner there.
Yeah, damn, Leo.
Now, here's the thing, okay? I'm not saying this, like, as if a person who didn't enjoy it on the basis of what it was. I just got, at some point, sick of it, and I'll explain why. So I managed to watch through Dragon Ball Z, and I, after about the Frieza, not the Frieza, the,
Android?
No, the Saiyan Saga, the one at the very beginning of the series.
Did you get to the Android Saga?
Oh, I got there. But we'll get there.
Yeah, because that's one of the best ones. History
the Android Saga is my favorite.
That's actually really good. Like,
yeah, that's pretty good.
That's really good.
So the thing is that got through this Saiyan Saga. I'm like, all right. I'm kind of okay. So we'll just do this one thing for it. Cool. Then we go on to the Namek. I think it's Namek Saga when they go to the other planet for funsies. Okay, yeah, Namek Saga, and like then they get to the Frieza Saga, and after I'm like, okay, that dragged on for far too long than it needed to be.
So is yours a pacing thing?
No, my thing is a story element thing, and I will compare two things along running shows that I like, but that I watched through most of them. So for me, it's not a pacing thing; it's a story arc thing. The way the story arcs are always done is essentially and this is what my problem with Dragon Ball Z was it was, all right, wait till we do this fight, this fight. Everybody else will we don't really need to be here. Just wait till Goku shows up. Call it a day.
Oh God, you know what? You're right.
And then bail. Oh no, X character died. Didn't have to happen, Goku. You could just go fight the guy.
Better
Call
wish
that a
him
day.
back.
Better wish him back. Oh, and then at some point you have to like keep a flowchart of and then they opened up the Namek area, right? And here's the thing:
Character A has died 3 times. Does
But
that matter
so-
at this point?
Now we're not invested in their life anymore. It's the supernatural thing.
well, so yeah. Here's the thing with that. So Shenlong, the dragon from Dragon Ball, and Namek has their own dragon, but because of the Dragon Balls are different, they have different rules, and so they make it so that Shenlong, because the big thing about one of the things is that he can resurrect someone from the dead, but he can only do it so many times. Or this Namek dragon who has infinite amount of times he can resurrect someone to the dead. And they literally in the show is like, all right, someone dies, let's just go get the Dragon Balls, call it a day, bring it back from the dead, and we're good.
Now, there was a caveat to that. It was that he couldn't do mass resurrections like Shenron could.
Yeah, because he was Shenlong is just way more powerful.
Yeah, it's a trade-off in power. Like, oh, I can only resurrect a person. I can only do a person's resurrection. I think it was like you said 3 times or something like that. But
He can only do it twice, and then
twice,
after that,
excuse me.
they're permanent dead.
yeah, but,
Which was the problem for Goku at some point. But then
That's
you go
right.
to the Namek one, which can't do mass. It doesn't have the power level. It can't do that, so he can't like resurrect or bring back a planet or anything like that, like Shenlong. And
which is
but
dumb
you know,
because he's the buffest thing there is.
yeah.
It's like, I have
But-
all the power. I put it into my muscles.
Ashley,
But on the other hand, they're going to just all of a sudden. Yes, Liz, the cat's there.
I'm trying to get her attention. Hi, Ashley. Do you want to squeak up for the microphone? No, she does not care. All right, bye, Ashley. Bye, Ashley. Sorry, continue.
Okay, so with that, this wash, rinse, repeat sort of methodology for it, and the part of it that really got to me was this. It wasn't like in Supernatural where the storyline somewhat a lot of times we'll get to that. This is in universe. We know exactly how to steps 1, 2, and 3. And at some point, I think it's before the Android saga, when they hear about the androids being an issue, they're like, "Well, just wait for Goku to do it." And then Trunks shows up to let them know, "Yeah, Goku can't do this one."
Goku dead.
Well, in Trunks' future,
It's
Goku
like,
did.
Goku's not here yet, and this guy's gonna beat him here, so I just need to deal with it.
Mhm. But then, you know, Goku will show up and do this. And like sitting here going, this is annoying. And the reason why it irked me was one of my favorite characters in that show was Krillin. Krillin, canonically, is the single strongest human on Earth.
Yep.
But that's nothing compared to Goku.
Of course.
And so, like,
Humans are never anything compared to a Saiyan.
So I do have to state that they actually cover that part in Dragon Ball Super. That Krillin is the strongest human on the planet because, and I guess it's Master Roshi's the one who kind of brings that to light to him. It's like, you don't understand. You may be way less powerful than these guys are, but you've still been progressing at an insane pace, the same insane pace that they are, just because your power structure is different. So you could, and they go over that, and like a time where he's like blocking for something, it's like, oh, it didn't phase him in any respect. He's like, oh, I guess I am stronger than I thought.
yeah, my issue isn't with some of the other series. From what I've heard, like, I haven't actually gone around to see it, but from what I've heard, Dragon Ball Super is actually pretty good. Is a bit better than it. I'm saying Dragon Ball Z doesn't deserve the hype it gets, but
You think it's overrated?
it's overrated. Yeah. My problem with it becomes
This is
that
the hottest of takes.
okay.
No,
So my problem
I
with
mean, it might be. We'll see when we get to mine.
yeah.
Okay.
So
okay.
Android Saga, I actually really enjoyed it, and they had a decent sort of
Well,
way
yeah,
to
because
go
it's
with
the
it.
Android saga.
The androids. Then felt like a kind of like, and when Goku decides his moniker of "Let's help make Cell stronger." No, don't. Why?
I want to
This
beat him
isn't-
at his prime, then he'll
All I'm doing is
never
like,
come back.
no. Or he could destroy the planet. Why are you making this a big problem? I remember there was a joke that
Or he'll
Fred- that
one-shot
my-
you, Goku. Chill.
there was this one joke that somebody put up. It had a combination of an anime. It had like, which world would you want to live in? Anime world or like DC superhero world, and their cover boys were Superman and Goku. And my brother, who's a huge anime fan, I go, DC, I want Superman, and he
That's
turns to me
probably
and
where
asks
that
me
came
why. I
from.
go, he's like, why? I go, because if Superman's involved, there's a good chance I'm going to still be alive at the end of this. Goku will blow up the planet far before he cares about other people.
Or you'll just be a casualty to Goku's power-up scream.
Uh huh. It's just a thing. The point, and I have the exact episode of what irked me on this. At the point where I go, clap my hands, raise them in the sky, and say, "I am done." I wish I had that as a GIF. I would post it right now. I just go, "I'm done." And this is, it's at the tournament before Majin Buu shows up. So yes, I know a lot about this because I watched that much of the series before. I'm like, I'm out, buddy. I gave you a shot repeatedly. Thank you. So what it is they have a tournament, and all the Z fighters and everyone, including Android 18 and Krillin, decide to joining up with this tournament. I'm like, okay, they'll have a legit tournament arc. You can legit see where they're going with this. And they are and even though they fly, they're still sticking with the rules of the thing. Okay, Krillin's still gonna hop in the tournament because this is a tournament. Android 18, which I know will whip him, can still do a lot of this tournament. And then they bail. But the tournament keeps going, and they just quit. They just decide to add a new villain. Like, oh, this villain shows up. You had all the drama of the tournament. You could have just not done that, and we could have seen where this goes.
Yeah.
And I'm out.
I mean, Krillin was in it for money. He's like, I want the money.
Yeah, and Android 18's in it for also the money.
He's got a baby.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a wife and an android baby, or however that works.
Yeah, well, so that's the thing is, like, canonically they're cyborgs, and Goku's an idiot.
Yeah.
that's what it is.
But like DBC, is like I said, DBC is not a bad anime, but it's not a great anime. No, but it becomes this. It's gotten a lot of hype, probably because
anime.
I'm not. I'm flesh and blood, not an anime.
Oh.
I checked. Yeah. So I personally don't think it's that great of an anime. Now, do I understand why it got the hype that it is? Back in the 90s, when DBZ was coming out, it was one of like the few animes that was on regular television.
That's true. That was a lot of people's introduction to anime was Dragon Ball Z via the Ocean dub in a lot of respects, which is just god awful. Or Sailor Moon on USA.
Mm-hmm. So like it has its place. I'm just saying that as far as the storyline quality, there's ones that I personally prefer more of. I love my takes for a lot of storytelling is ones where a character has a weakness and a strength as well. Irresponsible Captain Tyler, he's just really lucky, but he is dumb as a post.
So, on that note, I think both of you would probably appreciate. I mean, I mostly maybe more so to Leo's liking, because it's not over and they've got over 60 episodes, over 70 episodes so far. So maybe less so on Liz, but the pacing is just so damn good that I think it would help with Liz's issue. Is My Hero Academia.
Oh, I love that one.
My Hero Macadamia.
My Hero Macadamia. No.
I love that show, and I hopped on board late because I was like, when it was first coming out, it was so hyped up. I'm like, I refuse to be a part of a hype train. And I started watching it this year, and I am so damn in love with that show. The pacing is phenomenal. It never does any of the issues Dragon Ball did of like overstaying its welcome in an arc. It knows when to let that stuff go. And the characters all have incredible strengths and some weaknesses. Like, for example, like, are you familiar with it at all, Liz?
I've seen it around, but no, I'm not overly familiar with it.
Okay, so
yeah, like I've watched a lot of those episodes. I think I stopped at the second or third season, whenever ironically their tournament arc stopped, which I loved
2.
actually.
Yeah.
It's actually really well done. No, the part after that when they actually had what is it? When they actually had to go out and do
Their hero, not training, but it was their internships.
internships. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah.
Yeah. So the dude in the green jumpsuit and the green tinted hair, his
Deku.
yes, Deku, at least for like the first 2 seasons, his power has an insane backlash. It basically shatters his bones when he uses it, but it is
Ow.
unbelievably powerful. Like he does a single because his body's not used to having this kind of ability. Like in the first time he uses it, he jumps like 60 stories in the air and then punches a robot that was just as tall and fucking destroys it. Just like completely and utterly turns it inside out. But he shattered both of his legs doing the jump and his arm that he threw the punch with. And as he's falling, he's like, "Oh no, I'm broken." As he's falling. It's so damn funny. But the show does a really good job of balancing the humanity of characters and a world where everyone has a superpower. And nothing feels like it overstays its welcome in terms of their yeah, that's the one. Like as he's falling, his arm and his legs are just noodles, like flopping.
Oh.
It's so damn funny. But like the very first episode sets like an amazing tone. It sets like the perfect tone for what this show is, which is it's gonna touch on what it means to be a hero and it's gonna grab at your feels. There's gonna be amazing action elements. There's gonna be subtle but important character growth throughout, and it's gonna know when to make you laugh.
Well, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's not an unpopular opinion, though. That's more of a general consensus of the planet. So,
That's what I have gathered.
so anyway, that's my little mini tangent there, Leo.
Mhm.
What's did you have more to go on your?
No, that's it. It's Dragon Ball Z. I think came out at a time when it originally when it was basically a lot of people's first introduction to anime, so it gets a lot of hype for that. But after watching something like thousands and thousands of different animes, I guess my taste in storylines and such, they didn't differ. I just didn't have enough of them that to meld. So like I know, and by no means do I say Dragon Ball Z is a bad anime. I'm just saying it's not as great of an anime as people give it its hype train for it.
Do not ever say that in front of Dane or Eric.
Well, I will.
Okay.
It's like, oh, I'm prepared to die. Don't worry.
Yeah. We're
there's
gonna leave Dane as a friend forever. I hope you're ready for that.
okay, so maybe not Dane, or maybe he could, you know.
I'm sure you'll be fine. Don't worry about
I'll be fine. But anyway, yeah. But yeah, Dragon Ball Z is just one that I think is a lot of people's introduction to anime, and I feel, and don't get me wrong, I feel people who love it, they can love it all they want. My personal opinion, and that's why I put the personal there. This is not a representative of the rest of the channel. Is that it's not as great as people take it. Some people just live with and a lot of it can be like nostalgia factor
I was
too.
gonna say nostalgia's got to play a role in that for a lot of people, and they just don't know it.
Oh yeah. But yeah, though that's my 2 cents of an unpopular opinion.
Well, I'm gonna post one of my favorite gifs from My Hero now because we have the Deku destroyed arm and noodle legs. One of my favorite punches the show has ever done in a GIF form.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
I love All Might.
Oh, it's awesome.
And it's voiced by Chris Sabat. I mean, you can't go wrong.
Chris Sabat's great.
Yeah, and the GIF should go further. That punch didn't just like shoot him through the ceiling. That fucker went through the stratosphere. Like he team rocketed through multiple sets of clouds in the distance. It was really freaking great to watch. So my primary unpopular anime opinion is very divisive on the internet because like there's people that I watch and follow that are like, this is hands down a quintessential must-watch. Period. End of discussion. And I'm like, you're out of your mind. That is the most overrated anime I have ever watched.
Intriguing.
Oh yeah, I'm building this up. I think Neon Genesis Evangelion is incredibly overrated.
Dude!
Wow.
I've never
Yeah.
seen it, so I have
And
no opinion.
Yeah,
I thought I hit a nerve with Dragon Ball Z, but okay.
I was gonna say it's like you might have topped me there, Leo, but yeah, I'm not sure because I love mecha anime. I think Evangelion is just a mess. It's just a mess. It's not an interesting story as far as I'm concerned. I find the characters mostly boring, and Shinji doesn't ever feel like he grows. He's just like you've got the three character archetypes of like I think that Asuka, the one in red, is probably like the quintessential tsundere because she's got the pigtails and she's the I don't like you but I really do, but it's to such an extreme that it's like I fucking hate you. Shinji only cries. That is all he does, and it never changes. There is no growth of his character, and I believe it's Rei, the girl on the right, is devoid of anything. It's like, I am just a husk here dressed in white.
Wow.
Wow. See, mine
I love hearing
is,
this.
See, I think it's great because like mine's is. Do you see? Like, I understand it's a pleasure for a lot of people, and that's their jam. You're just went straight for it. Oh, you love '90s anime? I'm gonna go cut you in the good jugular while you're at it.
Now, don't get me wrong. I love 90s anime. I think this is an overhyped and overrated show, though. Don't get me wrong. There are some really good moments of animation with the Eva units, but as a whole, it's weak. And I hate the fact that they have that generic plot point of why Shinji is the only male that can pilot an Eva unit. Do you guys want spoilers?
Yeah,
You're gonna
go for it.
like I've watched the whole series, but I need a refresher for some of this.
Because that Eva unit is actually his mom.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's like weirdly Oedipal in a way.
Yeah, because it's only supposed to be females that can pilot them for some reason. But Shinji is the only male that can, and it's because that unit that he can pilot is technically his mother.
Is it like his mom's soul, or is it like that thing gave birth to him?
It didn't give birth to him, but it's like her...
Listen,
her
you
body,
said that
her...
as like an I should have known better than to ask this question, but I'm telling you, anime gets real weird.
It does. It's like it was crafted or altered or restored using his mother's like remains or something, some weird thing. And so now it's got her soul, spirit / genetics in it, so it can resonate with him.
Wait, he's not the only male character who can pilot an Eva. There's a fourth Eva that was piloted by a male unit.
Is this one of like the 60 sequel movies that retcon everything?
No, it's an episode it's in the main 12 series. It became a problem because it was so the Eva units become like Rei's, the L1 is the prototype, then Asuka's was the experimental one, then the one that Shinji drives, and then this fourth one, which is used as a mass. The idea was it was supposed to be the mass production model for it.
Isn't that the one where Asuka goes nuts and starts ripping all of them apart?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I just remember that the pilot was their other kid, and when he finds out he's a pilot, he like completely does a 180 in his attitude over everything.
Yeah, I tried so hard to watch and like.
You give
show.
some dudes a modicum of power, and they're just like, I own the place.
Yeah, like they.
No, he went the other way. He went morose.
Like, and they keep doing movies that are like retconning elements of the show too, which is really irritating.
Like, yeah, like I'm just gonna say it. Like Escaflowne did a movie, but the movie was like an alternate retelling of the anime itself, but condensed, and then they changed it so that it would make sense to fit in a shorter time span. They didn't retcon anything. They were just like, here's a different version.
Yeah, so this is like, as far as I'm aware, it's retcons. Like, there's now a new chick in a purple outfit for like the most recent movie. I think it's Evangelion 3.33 or something. They've done a 2.22, they've done a 1.1, a 1.2, and these are movies, and they keep changing little elements here and there, and including a character's personality and I believe his sexuality. Making him gay, I think, was the thing. I don't remember because I stopped caring because they kept doing that, and I already didn't really like the show. So
Well, there you go.
that just made
Less
it worse.
reason to care.
But it's like when you keep, and it doesn't help when you keep seeing these things changing like that. It's like, how can people still be okay with this?
Yeah.
It's like,
No, I get what you're saying.
like, when are they gonna just move forward with things and not be one city with this happening for all of their sequels and movies over the last 20 years? So,
I feel you on this one.
oh, and also, they heavily edited a thing where Asuka, the redhead, is in a coma, and
Oh, and he gets off toward her comatose body.
locking the door first, and then jerking off and jizzing all over her while she's out. Yeah.
Oh, gross.
It's like, that does not need to be in this, you guys.
Yeah, what was the point of this?
Yeah.
To prove that Shinji's creepy? Like, is that the...
Yeah, it's like, it's supposed to, like, it goes from being an emotional moment to being a, what the fuck? Like, why? So yeah, it's like, this show gets more credit than it definitely deserves. There's so many other things that have a better story and also it has, like, I'm sorry, the overtly religious undertoning.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes symbolism can just go too hard, and then it's not fun anymore.
Well,
Oh, I love me a good set of references. Like,
Yeah,
they're
it's not even references. The enemy alien things are just called angels, and you're piloting Avas, as in
Yeah, yeah.
Eve.
Like, I'm just gonna say it, though, Cruel Angel's Thesis is a really, like, amazing song, though.
fact.
I don't know it, so I'm not going to argue it.
Hang on, let me go
The
find you a
title.
snippet of it. I just know because, so back when I was younger, my dad used to own a comic book store, and he would order, like, he would import a bunch of stuff for me, and I have this CD. It's the 1996 Best of Anime collection. I still have it. And the song was on there.
I don't know. Is it just communication?
No, nothing is just communication. Literally nothing is as good as just communication.
Or,
The other one.
I just lost what the name of the song was, and I had it. But the,
I bet I can get it in a second. I have it in my music.
because the one I'm thinking of is a different show, and I just lost the show. I'm having a moment. I'm having a senior moment, guys. Obsession. .hack signs opening.
Oh, I've never seen it.
Oh,
I thought you were gonna
I remember that one.
say
Got a screechy at the beginning of that.
which one.
Obsession, the dot hack opening.
Oh,
Okay, I'm gonna send that one to you because you gotta.
all right. But you want good anime song? You want a good anime soundtrack? Listen to literally anything from Tsubasa Chronicles. The anime wasn't good, but the soundtrack is so good.
Okay, so on that note, I thought the anime was okay enough to keep me interested in the events, but nothing spectacular. But did you watch the OVA movies that they did afterwards?
No, I didn't even get very far in the anime because I was like, that was one that had some really horrifying pacing. That was the first episode. I was like, you're covering like a book and a half of the manga in 15 minutes. Like, what is going on? And it just couldn't keep me.
So the OVAs, the OVA movies are absolutely astonishingly good.
Ooh, can I watch them without having seen the show?
Probably, honestly, like, because here's the thing. The idea was that they were trying to get things to a point where they could actually finish it off because they weren't going to be able to do another season.
Well, and Clamp is really good at like starting things and then getting really far in and then not always finishing them.
They got literally the last part, the very end of the second OVA or the second movie or whatever it was. Literally is like, okay, let's go finish this, and then they never did anything else, and it made me so mad because I was like, this show went from being it's okay to getting to the OVAs/movies to me being like, I am invested at the edge of my seat, staring forward. It's like I need to finish this right now.
And then there's nothing.
And then they stopped. And Jackie was here for when that was done because I didn't have like a skip finder or whatever open, so I couldn't see how much was left. But it does that thing where it was now. It's just like, what? Like what?
And so did the even with the movies and everything, is there no like finale to them?
No, it's just a cliffhanger to nothing.
Oh god.
It's so depressing.
Who's the one that did DN Angel? She also doesn't know how to finish anything. DN Angel is still on a cliffhanger.
Okay, so here's this for you, Liz.
Let me hear this. There's some really good anime songs. All from the 90s.
Yep.
But I'm trying to get this to load. Hang on. Oh, yeah!
Now, the beautiful thing about this anime was it was a very, like, it's a slow burn show, unfortunately. But the idea was that this is tied into the original 4 Dot Hack video games.
Yeah, my cousin played them and started watching the anime. Sorry, I'm listening to this, so hang on.
Yeah.
This is really good.
Right?
Also, that slow burn made me not enjoy at Dot Hack. But not an unpopular opinion. Apparently, I'm not alone on that one.
Yeah, it's fair. I mean, I understand it. I can also accept and acknowledge that this is a really rough one to get into because of how slow of a burn it is, but that's because it's designed to be a companion piece to the games. All the worlds that you see them go to in Dot Hack
Because there was supposed to be a manga, a game, and the anime, and they're all with different characters, if I recall.
Yes, and they're all interlinked. You can go to all the places in the anime within the games, and there's even secrets on the individual volumes, secret code words that you can put into the game to get unique treasures within the game. So it's very clever interlacing in that part.
Didn't the project not work out?
It did not. Well, no, this one actually I think did, because I know that all the Xeno series, those have all been just. They're all good games, but they all fall apart in their planning process because they're too ambitious with what they're trying to do. But Dot Hack has actually been fairly successful because they even got the GU series, which was a sequel trilogy of games, and multiple anime adaptations and sequels and spin-offs, multiple mangas in the same vein.
Oh my gosh. While we're talking anime openings, oh, this one's so good.
DN Angel. All right, I'm gonna click on the Evangelion one real quick. I might actually know this one because I tried.
I think you will.
Like it was,
and it's
not
really
by name.
good. It's like a surprisingly good song.
Okay, yeah, it's the intro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do love how the intro does not make sense because the intro feels like a nice beach party soundtrack. That is not what you're getting with the show.
Oh no, this show is fucked. As my unpopular opinion would imply.
I have one more slightly possibly unpopular opinion. I feel like it would be more unpopular 20 years ago than it is now, but I do know that this mentality still exists. If I can segue.
Let's go. Let's segue it. Let's go.
I don't think that, I guess I can say it differently. I think anybody who says that the only right way to watch anime is subtitled is pretentious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like especially lately, dubs have come such a long way, and they are so much better now because they are put in the hands of people who actually give a shit. And so we're getting a lot better voices. We're getting a lot more talent. It's not just like chuck a stone at somebody on the street and they're the voice of Steve Burnside.
Oh, Jesus, yeah, right.
Sorry, me and Leo were joking about that the other day, but
whoa, I said I was sorry.
I said I was sorry. So yeah, like it's come such a long way, and there are like I used to watch a lot of anime dubbed because when I lived with my cousins and my aunt for a couple of years, or my aunt and uncle for a couple of years. And my aunt loved watching anime, but she would also be working on various sewing projects while we were watching it. So she had to have the dub going. And so, like, the first time I watched Full Metal Alchemist, my cousin and I had downloaded it. And we had watched it subtitled. And the Japanese sub is obviously phenomenal for that one. But then when we decided to rewatch it, we spent a summer just watching Full Metal Alchemist. We rewatched it with her mom, and we watched it dubbed, and it was so good. And like, I don't know, especially like growing up in the 90s where anime was so hard to get, and I relied on Sci-Fi's Anime Week, and all they showed was dubbed stuff, or mostly dubbed stuff. And so yeah, I don't know. I really like dubs. I think they've come a long way, and I hate when people are like, the only true way to watch anime is subtitled, which I also think anybody who says that the only right way to read manga is right to left, like, yes, like I prefer that. But if it used to get flipped when they were bringing it in. Yeah, back when in the 90s and the early 2000s, a lot of manga was flipped left to right to suit American readers.
Interesting.
Yeah. And if I still had my huge ass haul from when my dad owned the comic book store, yeah, I would be able to send you some, but it wasn't quite as often. But yeah, sometimes it got flipped, and especially like
that's a lot of extra effort though, because they have to translate and alter and edit the backgrounds of the pages.
But they all think that they think Americans are dumb. So
I mean, they're not wrong. Have you seen the state that our country's in?
No,
they're super
yes,
right.
Yes.
What?
But yeah,
no, you
so
haven't
like
looked outside?
No. Yeah, you're totally right. But like, yeah, they used to flip some of it, and I think I don't think it happened quite as often as like the weird shit that they did, like when dubbing Sailor Moon, and they would flip, like they would full on flip the animations to make the buses on the right side of the road rather than on the left side of the road.
Now that I didn't know. That's really interesting.
Anytime there were like cars or buses or something that in America would be on the left side rather than the right, or vice versa, they would flip the animation, but it would make no sense because suddenly like this person's bangs were going one way and now they're going the other, and then now they're going it's like a complete like I don't know, just an inconsistency. It's like when you were watching a movie and you notice like, oh, her purse strap
suddenly it's shoulders. On the other shoulder. Yeah, like it's a continuity error.
That's the word I was looking for. Yes, and so
you're talking to a guy who studies film. Yeah. Talk about pretentious. It needs to be subtitled.
But yeah, they all thought we were idiots, and so it used to be. I think they got over that pretty quick because I think it was just for a couple of years they would flip the manga.
And I think they also wanted to save money because again, that takes a budget to do all that.
Mm-hmm. I think also a lot of it would just be so lazily done. Like you just scan it in and flip it, and then they're like, okay, like they didn't give enough of a shit about it back then.
Reminds me of the saddest story of Astro Boy.
You might have lost me on that one. Go for it.
Yeah, I don't really know what's going on.
So Astro Boy, because you guys know I'm a history buff. Astro Boy is the very first anime ever presented in the United States. Mm-hmm. It was purchased. The rights for it was purchased for NBC, and they aired it. I think just like any other cartoon that they did. And what happened was that and this is what's the sad part, when they came to the United States, they didn't. The guys who at NBC who bought didn't think that they thought they were buying episodes like you would for syndication. Okay, you get the episodes, They would redub it and then call it a day. What they turned out was that the company that had Astro Boy at the time sold them not just the rights, they sold them everything for it. So they had the originals. And why that's a sad state of affairs is because of this.
The way things were handled back then. Oh my god.
So the thing is, archiving, it was not as big of a deal as it is now.
Mm-hmm.
And so when
they lost.
Oh, it got worse. So when their run was done, they wanted to give it back because they give it back, and they're like, "Nope, you got this wholesale." And then the guy who was delivering it back, so what do I do with this? Then they said, "You do with this whatever you do with any other of these old shows, those that aren't airing. And if they can't figure out how to keep it in syndication, because syndication requires so much episodes to do it." Which is why sometimes you'll see certain shows like make a bunch of weird like filler episodes because that way they have the number to make syndication.
Gotcha.
But if they don't, back then in the 60s and early 70s, they destroyed the archives, thinking they would never show up again.
Oh, that upsets me.
That's so sad.
The concept of that just upsets me alone.
Mm-hmm. It's one of the so like if you ever wonder why Star Trek, like the original series, was so popular, it was because Star Trek was supposed to be canceled after its first season.
Mm-hmm.
But Lucille Ball thought that this show had a lot more potential for it than it does, and so she kept it going and
she
forced
paid
them to make
for it.
Lucille Ball was a goddess among TV.
Geeks, yeah. So when she did that, she made it to have so many episodes that it went into syndication. Once it's in syndication, you have the rights to sell it to anybody freely. It doesn't have to stay with it. I'm not entirely certain what the rules are for syndication, but I know that's one of the things for it. So, but there is from the 50s and 60s on to the early to mid 70s. Ironically, what happened is that they would just destroy shows because it was cheaper to destroy the show than to keep it archived.
Yeah.
But then something weird happened in the 70s, and essentially one of the biggest hits that they have on programming happened to be I Love Lucy, which is an older show that they still kept around because of how many episodes they kept around, and so they found out that there is a market for older series. But by then, the damage was done.
Oh, Astro Boy.
So, historically, Astro Boy is one of the most important animes out there because it was an anime that was made in Japan that made its way internationally.
Yeah.
And then got destroyed.
And got the shit end of the stick.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And you always find certain sad things on that, like stuff with what is it? The first like 3 seasons of Doctor Who is gone in a fire.
Yeah, I remember hearing stuff on that.
Like there's still private collectors who happen to have some of those, but they're few and far between.
Yikes. I knew about the archive stuff, but I didn't know about Astro Boy.
Yeah, that was rough. Like, you never have a problem with that with Disney, but that's because Disney literally has their own vault for these things.
They own everything, so they're fine.
Well, now.
I remember the original CEOs of Disney never wanted to release any of the movies, like on Blu-ray or anything, because he thought it would devalue them.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Yeah, he thought it would devalue them to release them, and so, or to do like subsequent releases of them, and so, people were like, come on, like people want to own this on something new. They don't want to just own it on like VHS or whatever. And he was like, fine, put out Pinocchio on DVD. And they did, and they made a whole spectacle of it and were like, hey, here's Pinocchio for the first time on DVD, blah, blah, blah. And they put it in like a fancy box and called it something special.
The Diamond Edition, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think it was the Diamond Edition, because I think they're on like the Crystal Editions on Blu-rays or something like that.
I think it depends on which release it is, actually.
Like
how
I
many
thought
times it's been released.
Okay. That makes more sense. I thought it was with what medium it was on. But they released it, and Pinocchio everyone bought it, and it sold so well and so fast that he was like, oh, there's money in this, because this guy saw dollar signs and that was it.
Dude,
yeah, so then he was like, yeah, let's release all kinds of shit. And so then that's why Disney has their timed releases where they'll re-release. Yeah, they'll open the vault, which they can do it literally any time. It's nothing special except Disney makes it special by controlling the market that way.
Oh, I think they called it I think it was called the Gold Classic Edition. Or limited issue, because I just found a link to because I just did like Pinocchio DVD, and I'm doing an image search. I'm being very careful with what I click on, because no, they did do a platinum edition at some point. Oh, that's the 70th anniversary. That's way too recent.
Yeah, there's because they'll do subsequent releases. Jesus. So like Aladdin got a DVD release that had like the DVD, it had like the pop-up video, 90s style pop-up video, like facts throughout it, which I did watch because Aladdin is one of my favorites. And it has like commentary, and it has like bonus features and stuff, and so there's like a ton of really cool stuff with it. But then when they re-release it, they do it under a different title, so this isn't the DVD one.
Yeah, because I know that the Lion King was the Diamond Edition when that hit Blu-ray.
Okay.
Because I remember when that came out, because I got it, or I suggested it to a friend to get my wife for her birthday, because it had just come out on Blu-ray at that time. And this here is the 70th anniversary of Pinocchio on DVD, and that's labeled as a Platinum Edition. So I think it's possible that the DVDs were Platinum, and then Blu-rays were Diamond. But then they also have, what they call the Limited Edition or the Gold Edition. So it's hard to say. It might just be, which printing it is.
I'm surprised they didn't start with Aladdin and went straight with Pinocchio.
Well, Pinocchio was in the 80s. Aladdin didn't come out until 92 or 90.
Right. Oh, no, I'm saying that because Aladdin used to hold the single most sold VHS of all time.
Yeah, well, that's probably why they haven't opened it yet, because they know they're gonna ruin people by it's gonna sell out so fast if they bring Aladdin out again. But
not so fast, Jafar.
They did Pinocchio back in the 80s, and that was literally just this dude going, fine, give them this, because that's all they're gonna get. And then, he just, because he didn't want to devalue the movies that he thought were worth more. And yeah, and then now he's just not now, he's not there anymore. He might be dead, I don't know. But yeah, he was just like, oh snap, there's money to be made here. And he was right.
Well, there's a whole history of different CEOs making weird decisions like that. Like the CEO of Sega of America in the mid to late '90s just did not like RPGs at all.
Oh, and Bernie Stoller. He's a douche.
Yeah, he just didn't do that. He never thought RPGs could make any money.
Yeah, his exact words, I think, are, RPGs are not the future. I think was his exact words from a quote.
So cute of him.
Well, this one's not doing what I wanted it to, but this is the signature edition on Blu-ray.
Signature?
Oh, it's not...
Yeah, it's not doing a preview image like I wanted it to. Hold on. Let me copy that.
Fix that.
Yeah. Boom. There, I fixed it.
There you go. Aw, look at it.
I'm a real boy.
That's not one I would buy. I would put out money for Aladdin, though.
Oh, yeah. And I heard that they actually delayed the release of Aladdin, the animated, on Blu-ray because of the live-action adaptation that was coming. They didn't want to have Aladdin competing with Aladdin.
Because the animated one would win!
Probably. That being said, I still enjoyed the live-action one.
I haven't seen it, but I have heard that it is enjoyable. I do intend to watch it, but I do really also know that between the two, if it came down to new live action, getting the new live action one or getting a re-release of the animated one, I'd go for the animated one because at least I know what I'm getting in that one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, but I think we've wandered off topic.
A little bit, yeah. So
did we have a second topic?
No, I don't think so.
We
We did
You could
not.
pick one.
The question is, did we want to do another one? Because I'm thinking of trying to pare these back a bit in terms of topics, just so we can make sure that we get everyone's full thoughts out on a thing instead of having to do okay, well, we got to cut off now.
Oh yeah, because if we could go for 3 hours easy.
Yeah, but on that one, that's pretty much it. All the my other ones aren't that unpopular in the anime opinion.
Yeah, I think even my what was my first one?
Not liking extended series with virtually no end.
Oh yeah, I feel like my second one might have been more controversial 20 years ago, but yeah, I've still met people that are like, the only true way to watch anime is subtitled, and I'm like, all right, I'll be over here with my rad dub.
So I'm gonna actually continue that by saying I think that's actually more prevalent and more unpopular of an opinion now. And I think that's the case simply because of the rise of tryhards within pop culture. They think they're being cool by saying, no, man, I only want to watch the original. It's the way it was intended. It's like, yeah, but it was also intended that way specifically for that native audience. You have to have an adjustment when you move between cultures. It's just the way it is.
Also, if you really wanted it, that original, take off the subtitles.
Yeah, turn off subtitles. Learn Japanese, pleb.
I mean, I've done that before for different shows and programming that come in from Mexico. But again, I understand Spanish, so
yeah, it's a little different.
It's a little different. Yeah.
I'm like, mío.
Oh, Dios mío. ¿Por qué, Miguel? ¿Por qué?
Porque
but when it comes
dos.
I'm like sitting here, you're already not watching it the way it was intended to.
Yeah. Like you weren't intended to sit there watching the show and reading it at the same time. You were intended to sit there and watch it and listen to it, not having to worry about the bottom 2 inches of your screen. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I do feel like I get to take in the animation a little bit better. There are some, however, that I will not ever watch on a dub. Ever, and that's because the dub is bad.
See, now I think this might be a more unpopular opinion than your previous one. Let's hear this.
So there are a couple dubs that I watched. I say Final Fantasy Unlimited and Pre-Tier specifically because those were 2 where I was like, I cannot do this. So in Pre-Tier, the main character sounds super annoying in Japanese, and I was like, I can't do this. I gotta watch the dub. The dub is worse. The dub made it so much worse, so I watched it in Japanese. And I just got used to her voice in Japanese, but there was something about hearing it in English that I was like, I don't think I can do this. This feels grating to my ears. And I just thought, I don't remember Final Fantasy Unlimited too much. I just feel like it wasn't good, and that's my recollection of it, but I literally haven't watched it since 2005. Maybe 6. So it's been a hot minute, but there are a couple that I just feel like the dubs are bad, but that's because they were old and they weren't put into the hands of people who did care. But something that was really fun. So I watched Final Fantasy Unlimited first, and then I watched Pre-Tier. And Brandon, you've seen Final Fantasy Unlimited, right?
Oh yeah.
You know that evil little child dude? I don't remember his name. I don't remember much about him, but he was an evil child in Unlimited.
Yes. I don't remember his name either, but I do remember the character.
Yeah, his Japanese voice actor voices the sweetest little character in Pre-Tier. And I remember I watched Final Fantasy Unlimited, and then I watched Pre-Tier, and I'm not as good at picking at recognizing Japanese voice actors' voices unless they're very unique. But his little voice actor, I was like, I know that child because he played that evil child. And so it took me a little while to adjust to seeing him just play the gosh darn sweetest little boy in Pre-Tier. I'm going to see if I can find a picture of him. He's just so cute. I don't remember his name. Pre-Tier is a weird one. She the way she gets her outfits and her powers and her magical girl things is she has to fuse with the other character.
Huh. Okay.
So it's the little blonde boy in this picture. but each one gives her a different outfit and different abilities. So on their own, they have their own abilities. So obviously like fire, ice, wind, whatever. And yeah, then she gets different outfits based on who. So here's some of them. Oh, this one. I love this one so much. This one is probably one of my favorites.
Okay.
But yeah, like, oh, here's this little boy. He's so gosh darn cute. I just can't get over it.
Oh, jeez.
I think he's the plant kid, and so he can like grow flowers and whatever. But yeah, she like, so it's weird because like, yeah, she fuses with these other characters, and it's like, okay, like this could be a little weird if it was handled poorly, but from what I remember, it was really good. But again, 2005 to 6-ish. I binge watched some anime then. I was not in a good place.
That's fair.
But that one, I think for me anyway, there are some subs that I think or that are better than the dubs, and that's just because if the dub was bad.
That's fair. I mean, I understand that. So.
Yeah. And that one's a personal preference. Some people might. So my cousin watched pre-tier with the dub because her mom wanted to watch the dub. Obviously, she was working, so my cousin got used to it. I just couldn't. I got through about 10 minutes and was like, I can't. I feel like I will scratch my ears out if I have to listen to this.
Yeah, that's never fun when it's that grating. Oh,
yeah.
But
I really should rewatch it. I remember really liking it.
Unfortunately, I actually have to call it here on the recording.
Oh.
Yeah, I've got to step away from the computer for a moment, so I think now's a good time to call it quits on that one.
Cool. I think I'm going to go play some Resident Evil.
Oh, alrighty. Well, that sounds like a good time, especially if you're going to continue running into bugs.
Oh, God. Poor Leon B.
Yeah, just make sure that you hit record on those, because I want to take a look.
Oh, if I run into any more, I definitely will. But I also may just go back and do. I don't know. I want to do Leon B because I don't know. Like I played Claire A so much that I don't really know a lot of what happens in Leon B because I haven't played it in like 2 years. Right. So, yeah. So I'll try. I'll give it a shot. I might do a clean install of it and see if that helps. But maybe I'm just gonna play a super buggy version of this game.
Who knows? Hey, bugs are fun.
They are fun. But anyway, yeah, this was fun, and I'll be back in a month to hang with you guys.
Right, and next time I think we'll pull the wheel out again.
Yay!
Yay!
All right, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you on the next cast.
Bye!
Bye.